Today I'm going to show you all how to make fry bake. Fried bakes, also known as fry bake or floats, are a popular food item in Trinidad and Tobago. They are soft, fluffy, and slightly sweet fried dough pieces that are typically enjoyed with fillings such as saltfish, breakfast items, fried fish, and various spreads. It's a very simple recipe. What we're going to do now, we have our flour here already sifted. To that, we're going to be adding salt, brown sugar, baking powder. And I get that well incorporated before we add in our fat. And for that we're using margarine. If you prefer unsalted butter, by all means. Some people even use shortening, but I prefer unsalted butter or margarine. Add in our fat, so we want to do this, use your fingers. And you want to break it up into small even pieces. And get it well incorporated in your flour mixture. You want to get this evenly distributed before you add your water. Alright, so once you have your butter evenly broken up and distributed, just make sure you're not seeing any large clumps in your flour. Just make a little hole in the middle. Go in with our water. I'm just using my index finger just to begin to mix in the flour. And while I'm kneading the dough, I'm also using the dough to clean the bowl. Help wipe off any dry specks of flour on the bowl. Looking for a soft, slightly tacky ball of dough. I'm going to continue to knead it for about 2 to 3 minutes. Don't worry if it's looking a little rough, that's alright. We're just going to cover this, a warm damp cloth, piece of cling if your bowl has a cover, and let it sit and rest and relax. Allow the protein to continue to absorb the moisture. Allow it to combine and bind and let it rest and relax for about 1 hour to 90 minutes. Alright, so now it's time to divide our bakes. So next to the board I have a scale here. So if you're super anal, you could weigh the entire ball of dough. So I have 536 grams. You could pull out your calculator and do some quick math with that. 536 divided by 6, 89 grams, 93, 84, 89, perfect. 1. Sorry, it looks heavy. 90, 89, one more, 90, let's see what this one is, 90, okay, so we have 2 that's slightly bigger, that's alright. Right, so here we have our lawyers, so we just, now there are many different ways to round them or shape them into round balls. Here I'm just tucking in my fingers on my right hand, using my left hand as the surface, and then just tucking the sides underneath it. Some people bring the sides up like this. And then squeeze it together like this. See, more or less the same thing. Everybody have their own way of doing it. And some people even just do it two-handed. I'll show you. And just do it on the counter like this. Right, so we're just gonna leave these bad boys here using the same piece of cling. It's gonna cover it, and we're gonna get our oil heated. We want the oil, vegetable oil today, set it to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So just a little bit, trying as little flour as possible they want to use, ideally, because I hate when the flour gets in the oil, settles to the bottom and drops the temperature of the oil. Alright, so you just want to give it a nice even roll out with your rolling pin. Alright, and straight to the oil we go. And I'm doing this splashing oil on top just to help it swell. And it's fried bake or float as we call it here, so it should be floating. And just So splashing it, helping it, helps the top to swell up a little bit. That's what we want. Alright, just flip it over, continue. Now, some people like very brown bakes, some people like it light brown. I'll tell you, one of the key signs to look for is you realize how the amount of air bubbles have significantly decreased. As a telltale sign that the bakes are almost finished. So I'll just flip it over one more time, one last time, before we remove it. So take out this one, just pull them to the side, drain off the excess oil, and straight into a paper-lined vessel. Then the next one goes. And there you go. Fried bakes or floats. We would typically enjoy this as a breakfast item, as a snack. Famous at Maracas Beach for bacon fish. We eat it with cheese, saltfish. We pretty much eat this with anything.